Never in a million years did I think I would be standing before you telling you why I don't want my dad to go to prison, because never in a million years did I think this would happen. So much has happened in the past 6 months. I haven't seen my dad. I got my driver's license. I graduated high school. I had my grad party. I moved in with my boyfriend. I'm about to start college, and I had my first car accident, and my dad has missed it all. In the beginning, I thought he deserved all this for how much he hurt me and my sister and put us through this, but now I believe he does not need to suffer as much as we have. I don't believe he needs to go to prison for a very long time. I believe if he does go, my mom will struggle more than she already has, and she will lose everything. She will struggle to pay for a mortgage, to parent and take care of 2 children on her own, and she will struggle so much financially. So much has been taken from us, and we don't want something else that is important to be taken. I believe his actions have consequences, but I don't believe he deserves this. Deep down, he will always be my dad, and he has always tried his best, and there were bumps in the road, but things didn't go as planned, and I haven't seen him in 6 months, but I have 2 sisters at home who don't deserve to have their childhood robbed and not to have a dad there. To not have a dad there when they get their driver's license and not to have a dad there when they graduate high school. They deserve to have things that I was not able to have. I don't believe he should be taken and that my mom should struggle more than she already has. We have a family, don't deserve to go through more than we already have.
Your Honor, there are no words to begin to explain the guilt, shame, self-hate, and remorse that I feel. Feelings that I fear will follow me even after death. I cannot say how sorry I am to my daughters and to my family for the hurt that I have and harm that I have caused them. I have broken the most sacred of trusts between a father and a daughter, and I would do anything to be able to change it. I was the one who was supposed to protect them from this, and I failed. Instead, I have scarred them in ways that I could never understand. Scars that they will carry inside for the rest of their life. And I pray that they will find it in their hearts to forgive me one day. When my sins became public in many ways, I felt relief. This huge thing that I had been carrying, trying to live with and hide, was finally out in the open, and I could talk about it and get help. I still do not know how or why I allowed this to happen, but I have been working with therapists weekly from both the VA and Ravenwood to try and understand it, ensure that it never happens again. And I believe I am making progress. This is treatment that I hope to be able to continue. Your Honor, my crimes are egregious, and I do not dispute that. But they are not in line with who I am or my normal behavior. Your Honor, I don't dispute that I deserve to go to prison. However, I believe that if I went to jail, it would only make a bad situation worse. You have read the letters from my daughters and my wife and heard what she just said. These are the victims, and they do not want me to go to prison. Instead, they wish to reconcile and move forward. You have also read in the letters the fact that my wife is currently suffering from seizures as a result of having brain surgery and is unable to work. This means that they would not be able to pay the mortgage, the car payment, or any other bills, and lose everything. I ask your honor to show mercy and not to sentence me to prison. And if this is your decision, I will continue therapy. I will get a job to support my family. I will do what is required to reconcile with my family, because that's what they want. And I will follow all orders of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the recommendation of the state is a 4-year prison term on each count of gross sexual imposition. We would be asking that those be run consecutively for a total of 8 years. Your Honor, we did submit a sentencing memorandum outlining our reasons and beliefs that that's an appropriate sentence. There's a few things I would like to highlight for the court, though. Pursuant to 2929.12b, the state does feel that the defendant's conduct is more serious. It's our position that there was physical harm. We do feel that the digital penetration of a minor would constitute physical harm. And Your Honor, as we outlined in our memorandum, counseling services were engaged because of this incident, so the state believes that that speaks to the psychological harm and impact to these victims as well. We also feel the conduct is made more serious given the relationship. This was incidents that took place in the home, that took place when father was going to pick these children up, whether it be on his motorcycle or in his car. So there was a familial relationship there that led to and furthered these acts by the defendant. Your Honor, I'd also like to speak to the mitigation. It's the state's position that I believe there was bipolar disorder and PTSD as a diagnosis. The state has not seen anything indicating that that would lead to these offenses or exacerbate these offenses. I would also like to speak a bit on the remorse of the defendant. Your Honor, the disclosures from the victims in this case spoke on how, at the time of their interview, only months prior, this was taking place. This was not one incident with one child. This was not one incident with two childs. This was several incidents in which this took place. In taking a look at the pre-sentence investigation in this case, Your Honor, I would note that on page 2, the defendant's own words of what happened was that he reached his hand into the pants of one of his children and into the pants of another one of his children. That's his recollection of what took place. What we put before the court in our sentencing memorandum and what the victims in this case shared was far more gruesome than that. It was far more extensive than that.
First of all, you do have a clean record. You have no similar offenses of this type ever. I acknowledge your service, long service to the U.S. military, and also recognize that as a result of that service, you did experience post-traumatic stress. It's been requiring lengthy counseling and medications over the years. And I do recognize from the pre-sentence investigation, you do have a significant history of mental health issues and problems that you have tried to seek counseling for. I'm also in consideration of your family's expressed desires for you to return as soon as possible or be completely, not have any incarceration at all. And I'm also considering in the sentencing the hardship that your absence will work upon your family, as we heard here today. I'm also taking into consideration the prior penalties that have been imposed by me, by this court, for similar offenses over the last several years, especially those involving father-daughter inappropriate illegal relationships. And the law requires me to be consistent with prior sentences in that regard. Lastly, I also have to consider the need for some significant punishment for behaviors that are deemed wholly unacceptable in our society. As you acknowledged today, taking advantage of your relationship to your children and ruining their innocence. And no doubt destroying their faith in you as their father, at least for a period of time. So in light of all those factors, in light of the purpose and principles of felony sentence, the sentence is going to be 2 years prison on both counts 1 and count 6. They're going to run concurrent with each other. I'm going to impose a fine of $2,500 on each count. On count 7, I'm imposing 60 days jail with no fine, and you'll serve that time concurrent with your prison term.